विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. Hare Krishna everyone. So we are discussing shloka number 22, chapter 4, which is Jnana Yoga, coming in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we already started discussing this particular shloka in the previous episode. I hope you have already watched it. If you haven't, kindly watch it and then come back to this. So Krishna is continuing to describe the glories, the attributes of an individual who is already situated in Jnana Yoga. And if he already is in Jnana Yoga, that means he is performing bhakti, a karma. And as a result of that, what are these amazing gem-like qualities that adorn his character? Yadricha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhau asiddhau cha kritvapi na nibadyate. We've already discussed what is Yadricha santushto, and then briefly touched upon Dvandva Atito, how this devotee goes beyond the world of duality, that's this material world, and he is situated in the absolute realm. And continuing, Krishna says, Vimatsaraha. The devotee is non-envious. Matsara means envy, and Matsara actually also represents fish. And why is envy, the word that is equivalent to fish used to signify envy? That is because fish by nature is extremely envious. It is said that the big fishes, when they see small fishes, they think, oh, this tiny fish, right now it's so small. But then, in no time, this tiny fish is going to turn into a humongous fish. And then he may come and swallow me up. So what will I do? So even before he becomes a big fish, let me eat him up. So this is the nature of envious people, not tolerating other people's progress, advancement. Para Utkarshana Asahanam. This is the definition given by Sridhar Swami as to what Matsara, what enviousness is. So envy means Para Utkarshana Asahanam. Anybody who is better than you, intolerant towards that. And that better than you could be in any which way. But the moment there is some level of asahana, there is some level of intolerance towards that, that is envy. And no doubt we are envious of so many other people. In fact, envy is the fuel that fuels the engine of this material world. Because there is envy, there is competition. Because there is competition, people are working so hard to do better than each other, to outdo each other. But in the spiritual world, it's exactly opposite. There is absolutely no, not even a tinge of envy there. Everybody's central figure is Krishna, and as long as anybody and everybody is serving Krishna for his pleasure, everybody is happy about it. So the root cause of this envy is actually our enviousness towards the Supreme Lord himself. Remember, I've told you this like umpteen number of times in the previous videos here and there. The root cause why we are here in this material world, having left the spiritual world, is because we were envious towards Krishna. We were envious. How can only he be the controller? We were envious. How can only he be the master? We were envious. How can he be the enjoyer and I be the enjoyed? We were envious that how can he be the owner and I be the owned? We were envious. How can he be the supreme proprietor? So that particular envy, the root cause because of which why we are here, that kind of, gets dispersed into envy towards so many other beings. So the exact opposite of that, non-enviousness, is a characteristic of a devotee. And this envy of all the anarthas that are there, he is the king of all the anarthas. So if we can first and foremost dethrone this king from the throne that he is sitting within our heart, then Krishna can actually establish his supremacy in the form of Paramatma. So very, very dangerous. In fact, this envy, it is such an elaborate topic. It needs seminar after seminar to be discussed upon. And in the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge is the title of the chapter. And even before beginning that chapter, Krishna is telling Arjuna what? He is saying, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamanasoyave. Idam tu te guhyatamam. He is telling the best of the secrets I am going to tell you, pravakshyami. Why is he revealing this to Arjuna? Anasuyave, because you are unasuya, you are not envious. That is why I am revealing it to you. So even in Bhagavatam, it is said that Paramo Nirmatsaranam, in the very first canto, first chapter, second shloka, it is said, who is that person who can relish Srimad Bhagavatam? Nirmatsaranam, one who does not have matsara, one who is non-envious, only he can relish Bhagavatam. To the extent that he is non-envious, he can relish Bhagavatam. And even in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev to his mother Devahuti, in the instructions that he is giving, he also elaborates heavily on this particular anartha called envy, and how it's such a big obstruction on the path of spiritual progress. So very, very important to be vimatsaraha, to be non-envious, and this is a clear-cut attribute of a devotee. Sama siddhau asiddhau cha. So results are not in our jurisdiction. We can only do our duty, and when we do perform our duty, sometimes siddhi will come, sometimes asiddhi will come. Sometimes success will come, sometimes failure will come. And what is Krishna is telling? One who is the devotee will be sama. He will be equal towards both success and failure. Just like in 2.38 also, Krishna says, sama sukha dukkha same kritva labha labhau jaya jayau. There also he is telling to be equal, labha alabha, jaya ajaya. Same thing Krishna is saying here, sama siddhau asiddhau cha. So one who is having all these wonderful great qualities, what happens? Kritvapi na nibadhyate. Although seemingly he is performing actions, na nibadhyate. He is not entangled by these actions. So really, really wonderful. So we should all really aspire to inculcate these qualities. So going forward, let's see what Krishna is going to describe in the 23rd shloka. All that and more in the upcoming videos. Take care. Hare Krishna.